Thank you guys for tuning in to the Muse Report podcast, the number one podcast in the world if you are trying to build your vision and turn your dreams into a reality. It's Tuesday once again. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time on the show, thank you for tuning in. You are not going to regret listening to this episode. In this episode, I am talking with special guest Ryan Gordon. Now, Ryan's been on the show before. If you're a returning listener and you've gone all the way back in the archives to the baby stages of this podcast, you might have heard Ryan before. I believe he was on episode 11 of the podcast. And I'm so happy to have Ryan back on the show, just simply because of the amount of growth I've seen in his career since we last sat down and talked with some mics in front of us. Ryan is a professional videographer, the founder of FreeAlexander Media and of BeforePro Media, and he's also the media coordinator for Team Durant. So obviously you can see a mixture of what his two loves in life are, which is basketball and videography and photography. And if you have never seen his sports mixtapes, just hop on over to his Instagram page right now. The link is in the show notes. And you will be blown away. Literally every time I watch one of his mixtapes, it makes me want to recommit my life to basketball. But Ryan is really the epitome of what this whole podcast is about. It's about having a vision and constantly building and building towards it. That's all it really is about. And I will discuss with Ryan how he created opportunities for himself and how he built his vision from literally ground zero to where he is now. So let's get into it. Theme music.
Loading.
Extra, read all about it.
It's a case study for success.
Be teachable.
What better way to learn than to just ask?
The learning process becomes a journey.
Turning dreams into realities.
Part of execution is totally believing whatever you're doing is going to work.
What are your passions and what are your gifts? And that's where it really starts.
Chances are for taking. Take a chance on yourself.
Any and everyone is capable of being a leader.
You're not going to have all the answers immediately.
Wow.
Mentors to expose you to things that you otherwise wouldn't know.
It was all I thought about and dreamed. Like I would literally get up in the morning, practice, because I knew the time would come.
Just do it.
And I am a semi-full-time sports videographer. My Instagram handle is FreeAlexander Media, and I'm just trying to figure it out, man.
How did you go about doing that? Like, how did you go about like finding those opportunities and like putting yourself in the way?
I've been thinking about that for the past couple months, and the common theme here is aligning myself with people who have access. Like, connections are everything. So it's funny how things are like coming around full circle, because the two most prominent opportunities that I have right now is, one, I'm going to the Final Four next weekend.
Whoa.
I probably won't film because, you know, they have that thing locked down tight.
Right.
But I always find a way to finesse a situation. So I'm hoping that when I get there, I can like talk to somebody and find my way in there. But on top of that, I'm also working with Team Durant, the AAU team. And I'm in charge of video for all the teams, like from 9U to 17U for girls and guys. So I say all that to say that the way I got those two opportunities was as follows. For Team Durant, my friend Janelle Murphy, who is Murphy Designs on Instagram, got to shout her out. She's a photographer. We went to high school together, public school in 2007 and 2008. That was my 9th and 10th grade year. We were both in the same academic program, which is called Quest, at Eleanor Roosevelt in Greenbelt, Maryland. And we were cool, but I wouldn't say that we were the closest friends. And I left public school, went to Pine Forge. I don't know if this community is, I'm just assuming that, yeah, they're familiar. Yeah, okay.
No, maybe not, but
Maybe not?
Yeah.
No? Okay. I went to Pine Forge Academy, a small boarding school in Pennsylvania, and graduated from there. Then went to college. Took me a while to finish. But then after all of that, like 6 or 7 years, like we reconnected because I moved back to Maryland, and I saw that she was doing photography. And then she just so happened to mention, once she saw me doing my thing, that she works with, Team Durant. And I was like, that's pretty cool. How's that going? And we talked about it, and she saw my work, and she just has been hyping me up ever since, and was like, hey, I want you to join the team. You can be in charge of everything. We'll get everything for you. So it's just been great. Like, they bought me new equipment.
They bought you new equipment?
They bought me like a camera that I wanted for months. Like, they just bought it for me. Like, they're giving me a huge platform to start on. Like, the Instagram page that I'm now in charge of has over 8,000 followers. And walking into something like that with the talent that I so proudly possess, I'm like, that'll just be amazing. So because of her and that relationship that we have, like, that has given me this platform that is way bigger than I ever imagined even having. Secondly, for the Final Four opportunity, when I first started doing sports videography, I linked up with a prominent basketball trainer named Coach Godwin. I don't know if you've heard of Coach Godwin.
I don't know.
Maybe. He was one of the first basketball trainers to pop up with ads on YouTube. So you might have heard of the red ball hog gloves that like don't have any grip that help you dribble better. Yeah, that's him. And so I messaged him and was like, hey, I just started doing this. Do you need any like footage of your workouts or anything like that? And I was like, I'm not looking for money. I just want an opportunity to, film and associate myself with you. And he was like, yeah, come on. So we struck a deal. I filmed a couple workouts here and there, and I was getting paid a little bit. And then, like, he saw my hustle and my drive and my willingness to just show up and do whatever, whenever. And he just started, like, pouring these opportunities my way because he's so well connected across the whole country because, he's a heavy hitter in the basketball world. So I'm getting somewhere with this. So after that, I found out that he has, like, several other business ventures. Like, when it comes to entrepreneurship, like, that guy is definition of an entrepreneur. Like, he's always trying to invent something, sell something, or anything like that. And one of his many ventures is he's an executive producer for a food show from a former NBA player.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So with that show, what the NBA player was doing was sourcing the talent from like local people and getting like paying a videographer, paying a remote editor, et cetera, et cetera. And Coach Godwin was like, hey, I have this guy who's really good. He could edit the shows because the food show takes place in Chicago, and obviously I can't go to Chicago. So I was doing that for a little bit, churning out episodes. They liked it. And then one day Coach Godwin calls me and is like, hey, man, I got some great news. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And I'm thinking it's just something like super regular, like for the next episode. And he was like, how would you like to go to the Final Four? And I was like, yes, I would like to go to the Final Four.
Yes.
Yes, I absolutely would. So I said yes. What I'm finding is like the stuff that surrounds the games, like all the events and practices and stuff like that, like that's where the bread and butter is. Of course, the game is good, but like that's what we're going to be doing. And just historically, from all these opportunities that have been presented, I really count it as a blessing to have the chance to, try to do something even bigger with what I've been given. So
yeah,
that's really how I've gotten most of the stuff I've gotten. Outside of that, outside of associating myself with people who, have way more power than I do, it's really just having a sense of I'm supposed to be here. Like I belong here. And I guess another example is, I feel like I'm talking a lot, but another example
this
is
is good.
for,
This is good.
for, I don't know if you've seen the LaMelo Ball video I did.
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for that was a really interesting story. And I think that's what I messaged you about. I had to tell you about that.
Oh, right, right.
So my friend Janelle, who got me the Team Durant opportunity, we bought tickets to this LaMelo game. It was deep in Virginia, and I live here now. So we drove down there just to see if we could have a chance to film it. We get in there, pay for the tickets, got in there, and then I just like pulled up my pants and was like, follow me. And so we walked on the court and went straight to the baseline. As soon as I got there, I saw all these people on the baseline and started dapping everybody up, introducing myself, acting like I was supposed to be there.
Right. So you just acted, you just like, yo, I'm just going to act like I'm supposed to be here. Then not nobody ask any questions.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So we're there and game's about to start. LaMelo comes out. Of course, we're getting warm up stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then I see this like tall black guy walk by, and he looks like he's in charge, and he was asking everybody for their media credentials.
All right.
And so the first time he did a sweep, like Janelle and I just didn't look at him and, you know, kept filming. And then he kind of like walked by. But then he came back again and we made eye contact, and he was like, hey, where's your pass? And I was like, I'm supposed to be here. Like, I'm filling in for somebody who told me to come. Like, there was another videographer who was supposed to be there, but he got sick. And he was
Wait,
like,
is this a true story, or are you making this up on the spot?
True story. I'm being serious.
Oh, okay.
I'm being serious. Like, the whole reason I even went to the game is because someone who likes my work on Instagram said he was going to be filming there and had a pass, and he wanted me to come with him, but he got sick. So I was like, okay, I'm still go and just say that I took your place or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And so get there, I tell him, and I was like, hey, this guy's supposed to be here, but he's not here. He's sick. I'm filling in for him. And the guy was like, well, I don't even know who that is. And he didn't tell me, even if I did know who he is. And I was like, look, what's your name? And he said, Nate. And I was like, look, Nate, what can we do here? Because I'm here. I drove a long way, and I really want to shoot this. And he was like, look, I'm going to get a pass for you and your friend. And I was like, what? I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, yo, that actually worked. Like, he was like, I'm going to get media passes for you and your friend. Just stay right here. And so he left, came back with the passes, and we shot the game. And that was one of my most highly viewed videos after I released it.
It was really
the craziest thing is after all of that, the game was over. He walked up to me, shook my hand, gave me his card, and was like, if you ever want to come back here, just give me a holler.
Wow.
And I was like, if this is all I have to do to like get to the places I want to go to, just like act like I'm supposed to be there and like have the supreme confidence, like
right.
I'm gonna do that everywhere I go.
Oh, so, yeah, man, that's so freaking good. That's so good. Like, literally, that could apply to like so many things.
Yeah.
Like, because we often just like doubt ourselves. Like, we're like our worst critic. Like, like these people are here, I'm not there yet, or whatever. Yeah. And you're just like, you count yourself out before you even give yourself a chance. And just by you, like, just being like, yo, I'm supposed to be here, doors start opening. Like, that's crazy.
It's amazing, bro. That's amazing.
Wow. Okay, so is that what you do for like all the games? Because I see like you have like loads and loads of content that you put out. Like, so it feels like you're probably going to games like at least twice a week, at least. So it's just like,
yeah, I would say for high school games it's a little easier because you know it's high school. So, I just pull up when someone says like, "Hey, this is happening." I'll be like, "Okay, I'm coming." I don't know how I'm gonna get in there because I'm not trying to pay, but I'm gonna talk to somebody and get on the baseline. Or sometimes I literally just like walk past the cash table and like flash my camera, and and then I get on the baseline. For college stuff, again, it goes back to like associating yourself with people because for college you can't just walk in there.
Right.
But like sometimes I know a player on the team who likes my work or a player who I actually know. And they'll be like, okay, yeah, I can get you a media pass. Like for the University of Maryland women's, I know one of the players who's like the best player on the team there, Kyla Charles.
Oh yeah,
and that's
dope.
because because she went to middle school with my brother, JNA, which is now I guess Tacoma Prep or something like that.
Prep, something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So I saw her, before I feel anyone knew who she was.
Right.
And then, things just come back full circle. So I think as with anything, it's all about who you know and like maintaining relationships so that someone can have the confidence enough to pull you in,
Right. Yeah. And then also having like actually great work as well. So like even though you might know people, but if your work isn't worth talking about, then it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Man,
that's
so good. Okay, so as far as it goes for what you're planning for the future, like how do you picture yourself like to keep progressing as far as like what you're doing now?
I'm not gonna lie, it's not as honky dory as it seems. Like I put out a lot of stuff, but I swear, like every other day, it's like, do I even want to do this? Like this is cool, but like I feel like I haven't even fully validated myself yet. Like I catch myself because I'm really concerned about like views and likes and stuff like that, and I have to remember that none of that matters. Like it matters, because Instagram now is how people legitimize you or whatever, so that it has some sort of weight.
Some sort of weight, yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I have to remember that I am very well connected, and I have to constantly remind myself that I can do this. I believe, put on this earth to do this. I'm supremely talented, and it's really okay to just be myself. You know what I mean? So I guess to answer your question, I don't know where this is gonna go, or where I see myself. You know what I mean?
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, because like that, I know exactly how that feels. Like people saying, "Oh, like," so the same exact thing goes for me. So people see me connected with certain people who have certain influence places. They're on the podcast. They see me going to different events and things like that, and they're like, "Oh, dude, you're killing it over there." I'm like, "Bro, I'm still broke. I'm still in college." It's like, like it might look good on the gram, but like the real life, we're still in the same place, man. So like, and people say, "Well, where do you want to go with the podcast?" You're like, you know what? I have like this thing in my head where it's like, oh, this would be cool if I attain this level. But as far as like the next step, like I don't necessarily completely know. Like I'm just going to keep trying to make what I do right now better every single time and just keep putting stuff out there and just see where it goes, really see where that leads me. And I feel like once I hit that next, thing, oh, okay, now I need to go here and just keep creating, hit that next thing. Okay, now I need to go here. So that's kind of just how it's been going with me. So I completely understand what you mean when you say that.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy. And I just started trying to like rejuvenate and really start my spiritual life again. And I watch a lot of Elevation Church. Have you heard of Elevation Church?
Heard of Transformation Church? I
think it's one of them Elevation Church, something like that.
I watch Transformation Church all the time.
Okay. And I was listening to one sermon and he was like, basically, if you know better, do better. And I took that as like, just really being in the present,
Yeah.
Like, it's good to have a plan, but like, if you don't make the best of what's happening right now, then nothing is going to happen. And I think that Instagram post I had where you said I was preaching or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's right after I watched like that sermon. He was like, people want the answer to life now just so that they won't have to have faith. But until you just like really embrace what's happening now and be the best person you can be right in the moment, like it's gonna be difficult. And I'm trying to live on faith and just have God lead the way, because I know I'm talented and I know I'm doing my best. So that's all I can really worry about.
That's funny that you say that, because on the intro to the podcast, your voice is on there. And
for real?
Yeah, your voice is on there, and it says the little snippet I have on there is like I think it says you're not gonna know all the answers immediately. That's what you said.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Full circle.
Look at me. That's funny. But yeah.
So for like, as far as business goes, how are you going about that as far as trying to balance gaining opportunity with progressing your business? Because there's a fine line as far as that goes. Like, you know, Gary Vee talks about the jab, right hook, you know, and and how much like you said, like when you hit up what was the coach's name? Start with the G, I think.
Coach Godwin. Yeah.
Coach Godwin. So you hit him up, it's like, dude, basically you said, I'm trying to provide you this value. I do good work. I don't expect anything in return. I just want to be in the space, you know?
Yeah.
And from that, opportunity was created. But like, have you thought about, or have you already started like making moves as far as like sustainability, as far as what you're going to do as a business person?
In terms of me growing the business, right now, I'm looking at this Team Durant thing because the way it's looking, like by the end of the summer, I think it's really going to be popping. And I was talking to Janelle and she was like, this could really turn into like full-time work. So I'm like, if that means me not getting paid a lot for the next couple of months will turn into, you know, full-time work, even though it is kind of working for somebody else, then I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I'm cool with not getting paid what I feel like I'm worth right now. But I think eventually, past all the Team Durant stuff, past all the free stuff that I'm doing right now, like I do want to own my own production company and tell short stories and do more highlights and stuff like that. And I think that'll come with this, I guess a word for it would be this vessel that I have right now, because the money's not where I want it to be right now, but I think that's because I'm not prepared for that type of position. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I tried to start stuff so many times, and I'm like, maybe it's just not time for me to lead and be making all this money and have all this stuff yet. So I'm just, again, just being in the present.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a real thing. Like, even like I'm just relaying everything back to what I'm doing here. Like, you try to get like these, like people ask like, oh, how'd you get so and so on the show? How do you get these people on the show? Because it's like people that aren't. I'm reaching farther and farther outside of the circle of people I know. So how do you get these people? I'm like, dude, you don't know how many people say no.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's not like I just ask and everyone says yes. Like I get through like, you know, 15 no's before I get one yes. And it's just like, when I go for like, oh, I'm going to get this guest, I'm going to get this big person or whatever, and it doesn't work out. It's like, and I look back and I've even gotten people on the show who have said no before. And then later on, I've gotten them on and it was been way better. And I look back and I'm like, I honestly wasn't even ready for that when I asked for it back then. So I'm like, it's a good thing. Like, I mean, I'm spiritual, so I was like, God delayed that, because if I had that opportunity then, I would have blew it. Yeah, and I'm just like, wow. So like, even for those who are listening, the audience, if you're creative, if you're entrepreneurial, if you're a business person, if you just have like a goal, it could be to lose weight or whatever. Like, just because you're not doing what you think you should be doing at this moment, think about it like, yo, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I'm not ready for it yet. Maybe like I just need to keep grinding it out, working at that craft until that opportunity comes. And if it doesn't come, I mean, hey, like other things will come along the way and you'll see like you're exactly where you're supposed to be. So it's just like, just chill out for a little bit, be patient, and just keep grinding. Yeah.
It's funny you said that, because I also believe that writing stuff down and like manifesting stuff, like that is a super real thing. Like, as soon as I started this, I did this reach your goals challenge. It's the first video on my Instagram page. And I think I asked people to do like a 1 month goal, 1 year goal, and like a 5-year goal or something like that. And my 1 month goal was to get to like 250 followers, and I didn't hit it, and I was blown. But the 1 year goal was to be doing this videography stuff full time. And I just find it really funny that right now, the way it's looking, by the end of August, which is when I started last year, that could be a real thing.
All right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just, and it's funny that when you write stuff down, even if it seems like super far-fetched, like you will automatically just be doing stuff to help you reach whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing I recommend to people. Just like write it down.
Write it down. Yeah. And there's just a guy, I don't know if you pay attention to him. You know, Drama. He used to be on Fantasy Factory, like on MTV and stuff. But he has this podcast, and like he's like completely transformed like his image from where he was
really?
on MTV. Now he's like inspirational business owner type guy. But he does this thing where he has like his affirmations and like goals, like he like put them to like music, because he was like into music for a little bit, and he like put them to like tracks and like listens to them like every morning, like what he like his affirmations for himself, like I am this, I am that, like I am like, you know, a professional videographer, like I am this, whatever. And then like he has his goals on there as well. He listens to those like every morning before he, you know, starts off his day. I'm like, whoa, that's deep. And like me, I have like my stuff like out on my wall, so I see it every day, like my goals and like my overall vision for what my purpose is in life. And that's just stuff like it manifests itself, even though it doesn't seem like it, like you start seeing yourself doing things toward reaching that without you even noticing it. But yeah, I still haven't done the like recording thing, which I need to do, because like I always have headphones in.
You're in front of a mic right now, bro. Like
yeah, I just haven't been able to, like the music part is what's been holding me back. Like I've been doing so many other things. Like I just came out of the studio for doing something for USM project for music, and I just got back from Ohio like at 3 a.m. This morning, so it's just a lot going on. But yeah, like I think that's like a super good thing. Like things will manifest themselves if you get them out of your mind, pretty much.
Amen.
Yeah.
Your before you move on to the next thing, I was just gonna say that your mind is a very powerful place. Now, another thing I was learning by listening to all these sermons is that like how you start and end your day is like, it's everything. And I was realizing that I was waking up to Instagram, you know, checking for likes, stuff like that. And I think that was feeding this whole thing of like, oh, I need more, like blah, 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 blah. But when I started waking up and like praying, writing down things I'm thankful for, listening to a positive sermon, like that really like restructures your whole mindset and can take you places you never imagined. So,
oh man, that's good. Yeah. I tried not to do that. Sometimes I fail. But usually though, like even like I've gotten to the point now that Instagram is never the first thing that I look at in the morning. Even if I look at it shortly after, I usually the first thing I do is I read the Bible on my phone before. But I should probably spend more time doing that than like going to Instagram afterward, because the time ratio is still off. But I'm working on it. Small baby steps. But yeah, that I'm working on my nightly routine right now. I've kind of gotten my morning routine down. Okay. Started taking cold showers, which is
interesting.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do a 5-Minute Friday episode on that and like how I feel like it's been affecting me.
I'm curious.
Yeah, like I don't really see like the health benefits necessarily, but I don't really think I am ever going to see those, because they're like things that you just don't see with the naked eye.
Right.
But as far as just like getting me like, I don't know if it's like a psychological thing, like I took a cold shower so now I feel better, or if it's actually the cold shower that does it.
So like give you a jolt of energy in the morning?
Yes.
Like, I'm sure that
so like I listen to the same playlist every single morning.
Okay.
And like at certain points, like it also helps me shorten like my morning. So like I'm the type of person that just gets ready real slow. So like so like I'll be running late when I really didn't need to be running late.
Same.
So like the playlist and the cold shower helps me like stay on time. So like when I go to like do my stuff in the morning, I start the playlist and I know like by the time I need to be in the shower by this part of the song, or else I'm going to be like behind schedule. And if I'm
it's like that.
Yeah, it just so happened to happen like that. Like I don't it wasn't something I started planning on doing. It's just like kind of started happening because of the music. The music helps. And then like at a certain part of the song, like that's when I like heat up the bathroom first, like with hot water, so that when I come out, I'm not cold. It feels pretty nice. Yeah.
I like that.
And then like once I get in, like I gradually keep turning it colder and colder till it's like literally like freezing. And by a certain part of the song where it gets like really slow, like I'm able to like control my breathing, and like you kind of like literally it's so cold that the only thing you can focus on is breathing. And like when you're done, I finish at the end of another song, and when I'm done, it's like a hype song at the end, and I'm out of the shower. I'm like, whoa, let's go! Motherfucker, kill this day! Nobody's gonna stop me! What? Yeah. So like,
that's great.
Yeah, like it's a great way to start off the day.
Need to try that.
Yeah, like, and at first, like, I was like, yeah, I can't fade this cold water, bro. Like, it's just not gonna work. But when you start, like, just don't try to go like cold turkey, because that's how you'll never do it again.
Right? Yeah. Of
so
course.
like maybe just like do it for like a few seconds, or maybe not all the way cold, but just not as warm as you usually have it or whatever. But yeah, man, I think it helps. I think I'm still doing my little case study on it. But as far as my morning routine, it keeps me going, because after that I make sure I meditate and I do my devotion, and that continues into the next part and the next part. Night routine, I haven't really gotten that down yet. Because I just get in at all times of the night, and it's just like I don't know. But I'm working on that too, because that really affects how I feel when I wake up the next morning. But yeah, I think that was like all the questions I had. In fact, I didn't even need to ask that many questions. You just started like going. And no, it was really good. Like, it was really good stuff. Like, I was like, holy crap, like I didn't even need to prepare anything. Like, he's saying literally everything I was gonna ask anyway. So appreciate it, man.
You caught me at a very pivotal time in my life, I feel. So I appreciate you, man. I haven't expressed that much to anyone ever, and I appreciate the platform, and I'm glad that the show is still going, man. I guess before we close, one of the biggest things that I've learned over the course of this whole experience is that as long as you continue to show love to people, you will never go out of business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as you keep hyping other people up,
yep,
asking them questions about themselves, making them feel good about themselves, like, you will never be
And
short.
the thing is, though, like, some people do that, but they do it like out of like selfish intention, and like they be like, oh yeah, so and so, and you want the reciprocating love, I guess, but like, I don't know, like, you could just tell the difference.
Yeah,
you could just, like, even if you're the person receiving it, like, you could tell when someone's like genuinely like rooting for you, or you could tell like they're just like gassing you up, you know?
Right.
So
that's
like
real.
When I do it, like, literally I've done that. Like, I've literally like just gassed somebody up just because, like, oh, maybe they'll see my thing and look at my profile and whatever. I've done it before. I'm not gonna front. And then I've also done it the other way. And then, like, literally always when I do it the authentic way, like when I really mean it, like I wasn't even thinking about, like, I was literally just commenting, I've always gotten so much more return and value on whatever it was. And like, I don't know why that happens. Like, I feel like I'm pretty much doing the same thing, but I'm telling you, like, you could tell like when someone's authentic with what they're saying. It's and energy, like, man. Yeah, it's really the energy. Yeah, it's the vibes that you receive and that you give off. And so like, my advice to anyone who's like doing that is, like, literally I've stopped myself. Like, I'm like on LinkedIn, I see someone that I look up to, I'm like, oh, I'm about to just come up with something to comment on their thing. And I'm like, I stop myself. I'm like, if I don't have anything of value to say, I don't need to be saying anything. So like, when I have something of value to say that I really think that would like go to their post, or, you know, something that I think that they should see, or something that I'm really feeling, then I'll do it. And then whenever I do that, it works. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode with Ryan Gordon. I know I just learned so much and identified and resonated with what he said so much. And there are 3 things I just really want you, if you didn't hear anything else in this interview, I want you to walk away with these things that Ryan said that were so profound. And those 3 things are: you have to provide value, you have to associate yourself with the right people, and you have to know you belong. And when I say those things, you have to provide value. Ryan went in and he provided value without asking for anything in return. He knew he had something to share and something of value to give to that person, and he did it for free. He put his foot in the door, like Gary Vee says, that jab, jab, right hook, and eventually opportunities came, and look, now he's going to the Final Four. And he associated himself with the right people, stayed connected with those people, fed into their lives, and they eventually fed back into his. And then also he just said that I belong here. I can hang with these people. Don't put yourself in the position of doubting yourself before you even give yourself a chance. We often have this imposter syndrome, like I don't belong here. This is above my level. I can't hang. No, tell yourself that you do belong. Put yourself out there. Put yourself in those positions, and opportunities will come, just like they did for Ryan. Guys, thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you really enjoyed it, share with your friends. You can screenshot it on your phone. Show me that you're listening. I would really appreciate it. I'll shout you out on the Instagram page at the Muse Report Podcast. And you can follow us on Facebook. All the things that I post on Instagram, part of those goes on Facebook as well. If you're not as active on Instagram, you can still stay connected with the podcast. That's it for me. I'll talk to you guys on another 5-Minute Friday at the end of the week. Peace.
Well, that's the end of our MRP episode. Thank you for listening, everything, but it's time to go. We'll have a new one for you next week on the flip side. But until then, don't kill the vibe, subscribe. Don't kill the vibe, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Don't kill the vibe, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Don't kill the vibe, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Don't kill the vibe, make sure you go ahead and subscribe.
Hey guys, Clee here. Thanks so much for listening to the Build Your Vision podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would think you did if you stayed all the way to the end. The best thing that you could do to help support this show is by sharing it with somebody. By you just taking a few seconds to recommend this show to somebody, you are making a huge impact, not only on the success of this show, but possibly on that person's life.